Radiant team ban.
Earth Spirit.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Disruptor.
Radiant team pick.
Warlord.
Dire team pick. 10 seconds remaining.
Bat Rider.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Alright friends, I'm back. This is the Summit 5. I finally got most of the overlays set up, but I literally just got in the door from work, I sat down, I got messaged, it's like, hey, Lumi can't finish the series. So here I am to cover Vici Gaming versus LGD.Forever Young. I'm Basekip. Great to be here casting for you guys on behalf of Beyond the Summit, and let's get into it. Didn't really catch too much of the previous game, but I did see Vici winning it in fairly convincing fashion, I believe. Maybe I'm misremembering, but we're into game 2 now. We've got Sand King and Warlock banned out. Earth Spirit and Bat Rider picked up for Vici, Disruptor and Troll Warlord for LFY. So this Troll Warlord pick is going to continue to be very, very popular here in China, which I find interesting because I've been casting SCA and China over the last couple of days, and I haven't been seeing very much Troll Warlord over in SCA. But it looks like he is pretty popular over here, and still plenty of opportunities to pick up some other heroes to go along with it. It is, of course, LFY who've been picking the Troll Warlord along with the Death Prophet a whole lot, so Vici Gaming have done their homework. They're going to get rid of that. And Ursa and Terrorblade will be the bans. Both heroes that are not that easy for Troll Warlord to man-fight compared to other carries. So, setting up their Troll Warlord for success here at the very least. This could also potentially indicate what they're looking to pick for their off-lane, maybe something a little bit less powerful as offlaners go. You know, maybe they want a Nyx Assassin or something like that for the offlane because it's good against the Bat Rider, but if they have the Nyx Assassin for the offlane, then they don't really want to be running the Nyx Assassin into the Ursa, so just banning that out to kind of set themselves up moving forward. We do have a Puck ban out as well from Vici. It is good against the Bat, so I guess that makes sense from that perspective. And LFY, when they're playing these Troll Warlord strats, do tend to be pretty aggressive, look for the team fights, try and do things early on, so Puck ban probably making sense there, as well as maybe they've got some other hero that they want to pick up that's a little bit vulnerable to the Puck early on. Even someone like Jug kind of struggles in the early game versus Puck because you don't pick up your Manta Style that quickly. It is the first item that you're typically going to rush, but you can still get ganked a couple of times with the Puck silence before you get there, and that even slows the Manta Style down that little bit further. So maybe something along those lines coming up for Vici, but LFY, alright. It is going to be the Nyx Assassin. Don't know if this is going to be offlaner, if it's going to be the position for Vici Gaming. Still going to pick up a hero that is very good against the Nyx in lane, as they do grab themselves the Lifestealer. In general, for the Nyx Assassin, it's just mostly about heroes that have lots of extended control, so like Ursa with multiple claps or the open wounds, and then also heroes that can
10
ignore
seconds
his
remaining.
carapace potentially. So the Jug and the Lifestealer are both
5
great for that.
seconds remaining.
Also, Lifestealer good because Nyx Assassin with his high base regen,
Reserve time.
typically against most carries, he's just going to buy a poor man shield, and if the supports leave the lane, he's going to trade hits, and then he's going to use his Nyxy base regen to just heal back up. But Lifestealer, because he's got Feast, pretty much fine to trade with the Nyx Assassin, even if it is into a poor man shield. So I like this pickup from Vici. Gives them some infest bombs with the Earth Spirit and the Bat Rider as well. A little bit of burst. They're going to have to burst the Troll Warlord. Troll will probably be focused with the majority of the lassos this game if they can find him. So definitely something to watch out for, as LFY just going to grab themselves an SF. Alright, I like this idea. They're just going to diversify their targets a bit. If you go for the Troll, the Shadow Fiend will hopefully mess you up. And if you go for the Shadow Fiend, then the Troll will hopefully mess you up. But Vici do grab themselves a Templar Assassin. Still very single target focused in terms of their lineup right now, though. The same can kind of be said for LFY. A little bit of team fight here and there with the Requiem and the Static Storm Kinetic Field from the Disruptor. Actually very surprised to see the Disruptor picked up as early this game as he was. Not normally a hero that we see so heavily prioritized, but there could be a little bit of context that I'm missing here from the first game this series, so I'm not going to dwell on that too much. Rubik is the ban. Vici are looking for their secondary support and definitely looking for their laning support to go along with the Lifestealer. I hesitate to call the whatever support they're looking for the position 4 or the position 5 because I feel like Earth Spirit occupies this kind of weird situation where he is in some ways a position 4 hero because of the roaming and whatnot early on, but he doesn't really farm that much. And some teams don't even necessarily give him all that much farm priority. So he ends up kind of being a 5. So somewhat flexible on that. And Vici, we'll see how they choose to round out this lineup. I think something like a Bane could even be alright. Though it is very difficult to play against Disruptor. So maybe not as strong of an option. The Crystal Maiden has actually made it all the way through the pool. Warlock's been banned, so your other very popular, well, one of your other very popular position 5s has already been removed. There is also a Silencer, not a terrible combo at all with the Bat Rider, but not so amazing against the Troll Warlord and the Shadow Fiend, who really just want to sit there and auto attack, so they don't really mind the Global Silence all that much. So, alright, I think the discussion in the Vici Gaming camp right now is whether or not this Nyx Assassin is more likely to be position 4 or position 3. I think the verdict may have been, if they're going to run the Disruptor and the Nyx Assassin as the 2 supports, then that's pretty greedy, and maybe we don't really care that much.
10 seconds remaining.
So, alright, Vici going to take the Crystal Maiden.
Radiant team pick.
Not too much of a surprise, a little bit of a surprise that they got it all the way through the last pick, but LFY... what can they go for their off lane here? I don't think they really need too much more physical damage. So I don't think a Legion Commander is that impressive, and they're just going to go for the full 5-man draft as they do pick up Tidehunter. Not a hero that we've been seeing a whole lot of, but pretty decent against the Lifestealer. Also quite good against the Bat because he can just kind of run in and yeah, he can just kind of run in and not really be worried about getting lassoed and getting bursted down. He should pretty much always be able to get the Ravage off. And also pretty good against Bat Rider for the reason that if somebody on his team does get lassoed in, then he can just jump in, pop a Ravage, and hopefully save them. The Lifestealer, of course, does have the magic immunity to deal with it, and Templar Assassin in this game fairly likely to get a BKB, though we'll see. Maybe he wants to avoid it. It is helpful as well against the blind on the Troll Warlord axes, so definitely have to watch out for that.
5 seconds remaining.
Alright, just gonna wait for everybody to pick up their heroes, then we can get into our strategy time, then we can get to our useless tower screen, and then finally we'll be able to start the game. I'm just going to double check the result of the first game, guys, just so I know that I'm not misleading you. Because that would be pretty goofy for me. We get to the end of this game, I'm like, Vici Gaming take the series 2-0. They're going to advance forward in the bracket, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey guys, lobby for game 3's hosted. So we'll just check. Alright, game 1. Vici definitely won it. Alright, 24-minute win. Pretty damn quick. So, perhaps coming in as the favorites here into game 2. Let's get some introductions underway. This is the Summit, though. Wait, this is not the Summit 5, right? This is... Yeah, this is the Summit 7. I guess we're on the Summit 5 ticket maybe for qualifier purposes, but this is LFY versus Vici. We got Monet on the Troll Warlord. We've got Super on Shadow Fiend. Afu is going to be on the Nyx Assassin, and we've got DDC on the Disruptor. Sorry, I don't know what to call this guy. We've got Jal on Vici on the Lifesteal. Does get forced to skill up the Rage early on here just to survive the Nyx Assassin stun. Chuan's going to be on your Crystal Maiden. Amy on the Earth Spirit. Meanwhile, mid, it's going to be Ori on the Templar Assassin. I believe he played this in game 1 as well. And finally, we're going to have Yang heading towards the off lane on the Bat Rider. The Boots perhaps suggesting that he's going to be looking to steal the creep wave somewhere here at level 1. So we'll just have to keep an eye out for that. Tidehunter has already skilled up the Kraken Shell, so anticipating taking a little bit of harassment. Chuan does himself a smoke already, so maybe some rotations happening over towards mid as Earth Spirit plants a ward up here on the high ground, but then rolls away and does get scattered out, so maybe that ward not going to stick around too long. Batrider does manage to grab himself a bounty since they saw all of those heroes over on the top side of the map, and that's going to be a great start for Vici with 3 banter into themselves. Shadow Fiend does secure his, and already has a salve, not a salve, actually going to be picking up some additional tangos here to help out with the lane. And Earth Spirit, I think, pretty keen on a courier snipe if he can get it, so we'll keep an eye on him here. And as the courier will be making its way back. We do have the Nyx Assassin running interference a little bit. Earth Spirit rolling in pretty deep, does find the courier. 2 shots is all that it takes. And a nice, easy snipe. And Templar Assassin does get pushed back a little bit by the Nyx Assassin with his Orb of Venom, so LFY doing the legwork to secure the Shadow Fiend his initial CS here, but Templar Assassin I think still going to be alright. Tide looks like he has managed to get the lane position in a somewhat decent area. Somewhat close to his tower, pretty difficult to chase him down from there, so he's just going to be a nuisance up here in the top lane. Draw some attention over towards himself. Earth Spirit is just lurking around this corner, and there isn't actually Radiant Vision behind this this little patch of trees. He gets spotted now. And Tidehunter just going to nice and safely back himself up. Couple of stuns onto the Bat Rider. They also managed to get the slow from the Troll Warlord. Auto attacks continuing to follow him. And with that Orb of Venom slow, it looks like Monet will actually be able to pick up the first blood. So LFY, they lose their courier, but they will be able to claim a pretty nice prize for themselves down bottom. Shadow Fiend up underneath his tower, but that's not a completely uncomfortable position for him. And Templar Assassin just going to be popping off the salve to stay full HP and keep the pressure on. Doesn't really matter so much how much regen you have in your inventory for the mid lane. What matters is how much you actually have in your HP pool when it comes to taking these man fights and really committing with the harassment. So popping it perhaps a little bit early, not going to be a huge deal. You don't need the 100% efficiency every single time. We got the... Oh man, 2-minute haste runes are real dumb, but is it going to get the courier? Oh man, it is, isn't it? Is it gonna juke into the trees, maybe? Nope, it can't. I'm telling you, man, 2-minute haste runes, they're real dumb. So Afu, he's gonna be able to get that one. It's not a kill, but I mean, it's not a hero kill, but I think even more valuable at this stage of the game. Gonna be some very nice gold for the Shadow Fiend, the Tide, and not so much a big deal for the Troll Warlord, but some faster phase boots would not go amiss down here in the bottom lane. Tidehunter only 4 CS to his name so far, so the Lifestealer with his Quelling Blade and his Blightstone is managing to deny at least a decent number of CS. 6 denies to his name right now. Crystal Maiden up. Oh, looks like Afu's luck couldn't last, and there will be a roll in mid as Vici Gaming pick up that kill. Was it even a roll? Yeah, it was. Alright. I wonder what happened. Nyx Assassin hanging around after sniping that courier. He was pretty low after that. Maybe he was just waiting for the SF to go for the shrine, but somehow got caught out. Anywho, we're even on net worth, we're even on kills, we're even on courier snipes. Chuan is running a couple of pulls here and there, but he's gone for a pretty aggressive build. Point in the Crystal Nova and a point in the Frostbite. So not a full jungle farming Crystal Maiden. He can buy some more clarity to sustain himself, but his teammates not getting that little bit of extra help, though. Templar Assassin looking fine on the mana situation so far. Not going to be going for a bottle. Is actually just going to pick up an additional salve and some boots here. So looking to keep the pressure going. We do have more pressure on the Batrider down bottom. Yang in some trouble to roll forward from Amy. Looking to help out. DDC still fairly tanky, but the Nyx Assassin's actually the one in trouble. Finds a great two-person stun and will be able to get out of the Firefly as Yang still has a little bit of duration left. Will the kinetic field catch him? It looks like it will, and Monet looking to finish off this kill with one last range shot. He will be able to get it. Afu comes in one more time, and it looks like Amy's going to be brought down as the secondary kill tries to roll forward, but Afu with the stylish exclamation point there pops the spike carapace, and Amy effectively killing himself. Well, Crystal Maiden going to be TPing over towards the shrine, in fact. So look for some kind of action here on mid. The lane is pushed pretty far up, and Shadow Fiend is quite low, but looks like he has no intention whatsoever of returning to the lane, and with the Crystal Maiden gone, Tidehunter just going to keep this harassment going. Lifestealer picks up a magic stick now, but only the one charge on it right now, and the Tide doing good damage. Salve does get delivered, but Jao going to have to swap his inventory around a little bit to utilize that. SF on top of the net worth, tied with the Lifestealer, the Troll, and the Templar Assassin not too far behind, though the big winner so far this game has to be this Tidehunter. Not a very popular hero. I think people have... It's interesting to me that people have shied away from picking long cooldown ultimates, or not picking as many long cooldown ultimates this patch, when playing slightly greedier has become a little bit more popular. DDC in some trouble. They got the Frostbite, they got the Crystal Nova, but there is Afu coming in with a stun. DDC. Only a level 1 glimpse, and Monet actually making a big rotation from bottom. This is pretty fast with his phase boots. They will be able to get a glimpse back onto the Batrider and roll forward from the Earth Spirit, trying to run back up the hill, but won't be able to escape. Monet stickied up, but they don't have any additional lockdown, and it's just going to be one more LFY kill. Anyway, going back to that thought about the Tidehunter. So I guess people have been picking some long cooldown ultimates. Enigma's been popular. Magnus has been popular. I guess Tide just kind of falling by the wayside because his playstyle is a little bit more 5-man oriented, and obviously Black Hole and RP are not cancelled or not countered by BKB in the same way that Ravage is. Tide looking for this kill, but just very awkwardly gonna end up dying. Meanwhile, roll in at mid, Boulder Smash gonna connect, and LFY, alright, as much as it looked like a great early game start for them, they're gonna feed away 2 free core kills and swing this game right back the opposite direction. I don't know what any of that was about. I guess the Shadow Fiend death is kind of excusable, but I really don't know about that Tidehunter one. Maybe just tanking way more tower shots than he was expecting. Maybe didn't realize how many wand charges the Lifestealer had, so getting baited a little bit, but ended up being an awkward death. Ancient stack also coming up for Vici, so Ori continuing to secure his farm as we head a little bit further into the game. The Radiant do have some nice vision around the place, but this ward is not going to be lasting too much longer, though at least they do have some wards protecting Super around the mid lane. Though that's not going to stop Templar Assassin traps from scouting him in just a little bit, so I would anticipate they'll probably see the TA run over and pop a trap down just to see when he is in this camp. Important to have these side traps just because if you know the Shadow Fiend's there, then you know he's not ganking your other lanes. That means that the Batrider perhaps can play a little bit more aggressively. Tide. Let's have the Ravage. Don't know if he wants to be forced to pop it. They do have DDC here. Maybe looking for some kind of a turnaround. The Ravage gets interrupted the first time by the Frostbite. He survives on 1 measly hit, 14 hit points. And I think Vici's still going to be pretty happy with the fact that they forced the ultimate there. It's not that, it's not that LFY were necessarily looking to take a fight right away with the Ravage, but it does mean that they can just bully the Tide even more. And he is just going to back up into the jungle a little bit now.
This'll come in handy.
So the advantage that Tide does have over the Magnus and the Enigma is that his lane pressure is much better. So if that's not working out, then that's bad news. Vici, alright. Jal does have his Infest. Meanwhile, bottom lane, in fact, is where the action's happening. Monet will be able to bring down Yang. A little bit of help coming in from Super as well. This Batrider not doing that amazingly. Actually, I guess he's working towards his drum. He's got his tranquil boots. He's not looking too terrible so far. Interesting that he's not going to be going for the Blink Dagger build. I guess maybe worried about the Glimpse and the Ravage counter initiations. So just a little bit more focused on doing damage. Tide does have those wand charges. Jal still pretty keen for this kill, but another Anchor Smash coming off cooldown, and he will be forced back. Next Assassin almost has some Arcane Boots. Afu doing pretty nicely. Has been given over the mid lane. Since Super is just spamming his way through the jungle at this point. Boulder Smash threatened, but alright. It's not actually going to go for it. Is TPing down bottom. They got the Glimpse, but that's only going to bring Yang back to his death. Super takes a bit of damage off the Firefly, but he's going to be A-okay. And Batrider playing super aggressively, but not really getting very much out of it. Is LFY just going to continue farming up? I mean, even with that death, the Tidehunter is pretty close to the Lifestealer in terms of CS. Templar Assassin is just rushing a Blink Dagger this game. There aren't that many ways to deal with Refraction. These Side Blades are insane! Ori, calm down. Alright. But yeah, not that many ways to deal with the Refraction this game, so fairly reliable escape for Ori, though it is going to be a little bit problematic against the Disruptor. Since he will be able to get Glimpse back if they've got some Thunderstrike vision. Troll Warlord just going for this 4-1-4 build, picking up the Vlads it looks like. Going to be going for the SNY afterwards, gives them some very nice Roshan potential here. And Roshan actually going to be a very big point of contention this game. We got Templar Assassin on one side, we got the SF and the Troll Warlord on the other. And Vici not too shabby around the Roche Pit either. While their AoE teamfight isn't ridiculous, the Batrider is always really, really strong around the pit. Not quite as strong as he used to be when the pit was actually surrounded by high ground on three sides, but still decent, good scouting, and still plenty good to drag people over terrain and back to your team. Big three-man smoke making its way towards mid. Monet, I don't know if there's any way to escape this one. They've got the TA trap slow, they've also got the lasso TA now blinking in. A couple more auto attack, the Troll Warlord pretty tanky, just going to try and hope to chain bash Chuan into submission, but Crystal Maiden's going to be okay. And the Battle Chance at least getting popped does help the Shadow Fiend take out the bottom tier 1 just that little bit. So Super going for a Dragon Lance. Pretty common build. Don't know if he'll see any merit in going for Shadow Blade / Silver Edge this game. I think probably just... Is Manta that good? I was about to say Manta, but I don't know. I guess it's actually alright. Get out of the Earth Spirit Silence. Get out of Open Wounds. It's pretty good against Bat. You know, if he blinks it on top of you, hit the Manta, maybe he gets confused, buys you a couple of seconds at the very least. And there's a Frostbite as well, so I would actually be kind of all for the Manta style. It's also very, very good at chewing up refraction charges. And it means that if any of those things get thrown at you, like the Silence or the Frostbite or the Open Wounds, you don't get forced to BKB. So you can actually save your BKB for the crucial moments and for the big incoming damage. Anyway, top tier 1, getting chipped by Monet. They're still up by about 500 gold right now, but that is with a bit of a tower lead. They're going to come in with the Open Wounds. Shadow Fiend being focused. Afu going to try and turn this around. They've also got the Boulder Smash catching onto him. The Silence keeps him locked down. Nyx Assassin does manage to make the run back, but Vici Gaming finding a very nice pickoff, and looks like they should be able to pressure in for this tier 1 tower on the mid lane as well, though perhaps do need to be a little bit careful. The Tidehunter does have his Ravage off cooldown, though. Needs to run to the side shop to grab a TP scroll. And Vici looks like even just the little bit of spam from the Disruptor and this Shadow Fiend illusion sticking around is going to be enough to make them think twice. So they are down by 2 towers, but if you discard that tower gold from the net worth, I think they are actually doing better in terms of their neutral utilization so far. Of course, that's going to somewhat be the case because if LFY are taking towers, then they're grouping up and not hitting creeps in the interim, but worth talking about in the context of if the game turns, Vici are going to make this gold disadvantage back up pretty easily. So the LFY 5-man is a-rolling. Shadow Fiend just going to try and pick up some souls quickly, as they do actually manage to get a Kinetic Field Static Storm over onto the Earth Spirit. Little did they know he had the Lifestealer inside of him. Now going to get the open wounds onto the Troll. Everybody's watching this Ravage duration, especially the Tidehunter. Gets the, not the Ravage, but watching the Rage duration for the Ravage. The Batrider will be able to fly over and finish off the Troll Warlord. TA trap, slowing down a few, and Ori, considering engaging, knows that he does have the Blink to be able to escape, but can't really do any damage to the Tide. And in the end, they will just let it go with a 2-for-1 overall. They hold on to their tier 1 tower, and the Ravage was expended, so LFY gonna have to go and chill out for a little bit. But what the heck? Huh? Was he stuck up here? What even happened? Alright, I didn't see Afu, but he's now gone. Another kill for another kill for Vici Gaming. Troll Warlord still just farming up his Yasha right now. Has gone for the +10 Agi. Gonna be a little bit helpful if they do manage to go for the Roche, but very, very difficult with the Ravage down. I think the drum, well, not even the drum, but Batrider did decide to go back for the Blink here. Lasso's still on cooldown for 20 seconds. The smoke gets broken, so they should know that there's somebody in the neighborhood, but they haven't checked the high ground just yet. And Monet, now finally realizing what's going on, is going to be able to back himself up. The Nyx Assassin scouting this gank nicely. The roll forward aggressively. Boulder Smash catches onto 2. They've also got the Silence. Disruptor unable to cast any spells just yet. Finally gets up the kinetic field, but that's going to be it. Super arrives with an Arcane Rune, and they have lost the Crystal Maiden. This might have been a dive too far. The Requiem gets thrown out, only barely clipping the Earth Spirit, as the Magnetize will drive them back towards the tier 2. Vici not quite in position to start doing damage to this tier 1, and they do need to be cautious as there is a glyph up, and that might be enough time for the Disruptor to respawn and re-engage into this fight to catch them with the glimpse. Lifestealer already using up his Infest. Everybody running back for dear life and just hoping that there isn't any vision here, but there is a ward waiting up on the high ground to get the glimpse, but it's only on the Lifestealer, and he will just be able to rage that off. Alright. Lifestealer gonna be A-okay. And LFY now coming back in towards mid. They do have the mech up on their Tide. 10 seconds to the Ravage. So Vici Gaming's glyph this time around that delays the push, as Lifestealer still has not completed his armlet. Did decide to go for the Hand of Midas, I guess, just to try and secure his late game that little bit more. But I'm not even sure if this goes late that it's necessarily in Vici's favor. Tide does scale pretty nicely, so does Shadow Fiend, so does the Troll Warlord. I know that, you know, for a while this Midas has become the de facto standard for Lifestealer in China, but I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with it this game. Amy gonna go rolling in, and he got the Aegis, and he got the Roshan. What? You take the taunt. It's all yours. It's all yours. I normally don't like the voice lines, but how on earth do you let that happen? He didn't even roll in when Roshan was that low, but I mean, I guess those final few auto attacks. Did he kill it with the Boulder Smash? Oh my word. All right, well, so much for the LFY game plan. Nope. And now their jungle's gonna get completely warded up by Vici. Templar Assassin starting to get bigger. She's already got her Desolator up, so much more combat ready. What's Afu got? Going towards a Blink. I mean, they're not out of this game just yet, and I do maintain that I think their late game is quite good, so even if they're forced to shift gears into just farming up a little bit, I think they'll be alright, but Vici are coming up in a timing where they are going to be, they're going to be able to be quite aggressive. Especially with the Deso. So these next couple of minutes, whenever the Ravage is down, I think LFY are in for a pretty hard time. Probably going to lose some buildings. There is a smoke from LFY heading down bottom. Shadowfiend not going to go for the Manta, is just rushing in towards the BKB, so that might come back to bite him a little bit later on, but I guess he just wants to hold off these fights for the next few minutes as best as he's able. The Dire Vision through the Radiant Jungle is overwhelming, and despite not going for a smoke, Vici just backing up for now. Suspicious that there isn't anyone farming, but Troll Warlord gonna turn up now, and they are gonna realize that their suspicions were well founded. As the Shadow Fiend gonna pop back up mysteriously. Tidehunter just gonna be going for some Guardian Greaves here. Very helpful against the Earth Spirit Silence. You know, Kraken Shell doesn't really do anything for you unless you're actually taking damage, and that's the one slightly interesting thing about Vici's lineup is that they don't really have much random AoE damage that's gonna get thrown out here. So yeah, there's nothing for him to run into to force the Kraken Shell to pop. Maybe a Freezing Field, maybe a little bit of Firefly, but that might not even be enough, depending on what he builds here. I wouldn't mind seeing a pipe from the Tidehunter this game to go along with his Greaves. I think there's enough to justify it. Magnetize, CM ulti, Firefly. I saw the Crystal Maiden working her way towards a Solar Crest a little bit earlier, but looks like Chuan is instead going to be going for a Glimmer Cape. We do have a Force Staff now up on the bat. Yang had a very slow start to this game, I think, by all accounts, but made quite a bit of space and has gotten plenty of farm at this stage. So I think he's having a pretty successful game. You know, even catching up to the Tide somewhat. I don't think he was even prioritized that much in terms of stacks. Radiant still unable to deward their jungle all that successfully, but it does seem like they're content for now just to chill out, farm up this BKB. Troll Warlord also going to be going for a BKB, but he's only just started on the journey towards that item, so he's going to be needs to be a little bit careful. They do get the blink in. This vision is going to pay off nicely, as it looks like they should be able to bring down the Shadow Fiend. Super going to do as much damage as he can before he drops, but Yang staying in nice and close, not giving him the opportunity to cast any additional raises on him. And that is the one Vici Gaming pickoff. The Ravage is up, but with no Shadow Fiend for 30 seconds, this is going to be an easy tier 2 tower takedown. Ori pressing forward for that. Afu scouting out the Earth Spirit up top, but unfortunately for him, does not have any follow-up damage really in the neighborhood. Troll Warlord's coming around the corner now, but they don't realize that the Lifestealer is actually over here. Blink in into the stun. The Static Storm Kinetic Field not doing actually anything at all as Tidehunter does get silenced running in. He gets the Ravage out onto a couple. Yang's going to be brought down. They've got the Chain Stun onto the Templar Assassin. Looks like her Refraction has already been chewed through, but they don't have any detection. The Meld keeps her alive. Chuan continuing to chase forward now. It looks like they should be able to catch Tide inside of tower range. Monet does manage to chop down one more, but it's only the Earth Spirit, and it will end up being position 3 and 4 traded for position 3 and 4 here. But with the big caveat being that Ravage was expended on the LFY side. So not going to be a very pretty fight for them, and that should give Vici Gaming the room to just keep on pushing. Lifestealer going for an SNY of his own. That's a little bit interesting. I'm surprised not to see like Fast AC or a Basher or something like that. I don't really think that the SNY gives him the potential to man fight the Troll Warlord necessarily. I mean, the move speed's nice. It's certainly not a bad item, but he is filling up his inventory a lot with kind of smaller items here. Looks like he is going to be going for the AC next anyway. Gets a bit of damage on the tier 1 tower up top, but his team was not interested in pushing with him. Looks like they were just farming for the last little bit. I didn't see when exactly the Earth Spirit grabbed his blink, but looks like LFY might have been unawares that it was even up because of the way that the Troll Warlord was positioned in that last fight. He is reasonably tanky with his Ogre Club up. 10-second BKB ready to go for the Shadow Fiend. I said reasonably tanky, but maybe I spoke too soon as he gets jumped mid. Super, not even gonna finish off these Ancients. Just gonna back himself up. Ravage still down for 40 seconds, and I guess we are seeing a little bit of why teams haven't been prioritizing Tide as much. I mean, LFY kind of forced to use the Ravage in a defensive way in that last fight, so didn't get enough kills to keep Vici on the back foot. Do have the BKB up for the Templar Assassin now. Batrider going to be going for a BKB, so all of a sudden the Tidehunter and the Disruptor are going to be doing very little in these team fights, and that's pretty much the only control that LFY have outside of the Nyx Assassin blinking in with an Impale, which he has picked up the blink, so Afu getting that at a decent timing, but LFY now behind by 5.6k net worth, heading towards 7.5k experience. They do have their Ravage up as they go for a very deep smoke, trying to stay out of vision of any of these TA traps or dire observer wards. And it looks like they have been successful, though this bottom lane might give somewhat of a clue to Vici as to what's going on here. Roshan Pit also being scouted by a trap, but Roshan can't be up for at least another minute. As LFY just keep marching towards bottom. Crystal Maiden, alright. Chuan had misgivings again about finishing the Shadow Amulet. Does instead just buy up the medallion. He might have been... He's gonna get both items eventually. I think what he was really doing is just putting both of them on his quick buy, so that if he was about to die, he could just mash the button and then buy a whole bunch of components and not lose any gold. So pretty nice little support strat there. You know, he's gonna follow up putting the 4 staff in there now. It does sometimes mean that you're not gonna finish, you know, the item that you were intending to right away because you end up buying a smaller component for one of the other ones, but
Dire's bottom tower
can be a
is
nice way
under
to
attack.
improve your gold
Radiant's
efficiency as a
top
support
tower is under attack.
by
Radiant's
not
top
losing it on
tower
death.
has fallen.
Tron's only got the 1 death so far this game, so he's actually doing pretty nicely. Alright, Greaves up untied, but still 600 gold away from a blink. Shadow Fiend only just now. Well, he's had his BKB for a little bit. Is there something on the courier for him? Nope. Looks like just maybe hasn't been farming that much. A little bit surprised to see the Shadow Fiend behind the Troll Warlord in terms of overall farm, but Monet still needs that last 700 gold to go for his BKB. And maybe at that point they'll feel confident to go and take a fight into the Vici team, but I mean they're gonna be contesting with Vici BKBs. Ori is gonna be going back for a Dragonlance Hurricane fight here. Interested to see that. Yeah, I'm interested to see that that's the choice. It's certainly not a bad item on TA, but what is there to get out of? I guess helps you get out of kinetic field before you get caught, which is pretty important. Save your teammates from the Troll Warlord slow, or you know, even save your teammates from a Ravage. So definitely a nice utility item. Nope. Alright. They're standing on top of their sentry, feeling nice and safe. There's no way that there's vision up here, but there is. Oh man, this dire observer ward just sitting right there. Alright, the Troll Warlord's got his BKB. They got 2 10-second BKBs. If they can't make the fight happen with that, then they're never going to be able to make it happen. Nyx Assassin gets bursted instantly. TA jumping forward, clears the wave. Looks like not willing to take the fight without the Nyx. The Roshan has respawned pretty early on. And Vici just going to head right over there. What does the Radiant Vision look like right now? There is not enough of it. They're going to go for a smoke. Moving forward. How are they going to scout this out? That's the question. They got 2 heroes in the pit, but Yang waiting up here on the high ground. He gets the sticky down in a couple. He also splits them up, canceling the Tidehunter's blink. They're just kiting him around in circles right now. However, they can't kill him. They will get the glimpse back onto Chuan. Medallion not really going to help keep him alive that much longer, as Troll Warlord will bash him down and now head on over into the pit. The lasso still on cooldown for 30. Zhao actually popping the rage a little bit early here. That might give the Tidehunter more of an opportunity to get off the Ravage. Ori, will he blink in? Can they get the Aegis? Yang does actually manage to grab it. He's going to be brought down. The Templar Assassin, however, getting bashed into submission. Couldn't even get the BKB off somehow. Finished off. Glimpse back onto the Batrider. Double kill for Super. Once again, they will be denied their Aegis, but they will not be denied the fight win this time around. The Spirit managing to roll a little bit further away. Afu, looks like he will get brought down by the Lifestealer, but no Rage TP just yet. Going to go for the Infest into some Radiant Creeps, but is that going to keep him alive? I guess he just needs to wait for the Rage cooldown. Amy just going to make some space, but misses the roll away. Nice little boulder smash. There is a glimpse, and Monet waiting for him. Chuan going to run forward, does have the freezing field. Roll going to get blocked, and one last auto attack from Tide is all that it takes to find the 3rd kill of that fight. Looks like Lifestealer did find the opportunity with a distraction to pop out and make a run for it, or make a TP for it. But LFY win the fight. Did they get the last hit on the Roche this time? No, they also didn't get the last hit on the Roche this time around. Lordy, how is this happening? But even with that, Dire's still up by 3.2k net worth. I still don't know if LFY are actually in that much of a rush, however. I guess in good news for Vici Gaming, the Templar Assassin still has her 10-second BKB. Though that's kind of bad news as well, because I think if he'd actually managed to pop that, he would have been able to survive a little bit longer inside of the pit and maybe turn the fight. So, alright. Troll Warlord just going to be going for a Scotty next. Shadow Fiend is going to be going back for the Manta Style. Has completed his Hurricane Pike. So plenty of defensive items coming up for him. Should be fairly difficult to bring down unless he gets caught by the lasso. Batrider can pick up another component for his BKB in a second. And Vici playing somewhat spread out right now as the Lifestealer is going to disappear into thin air. He's actually infested into the Earth Spirit, who will be able to roll away, and looks like he's going to be A-okay. Earth Spirit is just going straight for an Egg Scepter here. No Yules, nothing like that. I guess deciding that maybe the Geomantic Grip is really, really valuable here, which I think it is. Save people after you get glimpsed, something like that. Pull them away from being focused fired by the Troll and the Shadow Fiend. And Troll does pick up a Blink Dagger now, so able to follow up on the Tidehunter's initiations just that little bit better. Super, I mean, he's already reasonably mobile with the Hurricane Pike, so maybe doesn't need it as badly. And speaking of Hurricane Pike, Templar Assassin almost has hers picked up. They're going to jump in here down bottom. Quan was actually getting pressured by the Tidehunter, but I don't know if they can kill him. Plenty of auto attack damage. They will be able to cancel his TP out. He pops the Ravage just to try and save his life. It looks like that will give him the blink away. Boulder Smash just a little bit late, but they've also got the Lasso Yang arriving on the scene. It's a 4-man gank on this Tide, and looks like they will finally bring him down. Even with the Anchor Smash and the Kraken Shell, Lifestealer finishing him off. Monet looking for some kind of a turnaround. Amy with the rollout, but does not have any boulders left, so he gets finished off. Quan very low, but actually able to heal up a little bit off of the open wounds. Monet going toe-to-toe with Jal. He's got 3 sticky stacks on him, and meanwhile on the other side of the fight, Ori has isolated the Shadow Fiend and brought him down. It's actually looking very, very good for Vici. The Ravage being used like that might actually mean that Vici can just push bot. Oh man, I mean, Tide, you're up in 30 seconds, but you may as well be dead for 100. With Ravage still down. I think that was a big mistake. Maybe if his teammates were closer, that would have been okay to pop the Ravage like that. But I think even if he'd popped the Ravage and lived, you know, Vici would have been able to do this. Just come and siege some buildings. They got the AC up on the Lifestealer now. Deso on the TA, so making quick work of this. TA going to be going for a Butterfly up next. And Shadow Fiend still just lagging behind the Vici Gaming cores in terms of overall farm. Monet has managed to find out the Lifestealer, but he jumps inside of Chuan. However, Afu still closing the gap. Jal gonna pop out. Knows that he can't necessarily TP against the Troll Warlords. Just gonna go for the Afu kill, but they've got a Shrine, and they've got themselves the Guardian Greaves. Static Storm, Kinetic Field locks him in, and Jal will be finished off. Afu threatening the Mana Burn, but not using it. Gonna let the kill go to the Troll Warlord at the end of the day. Okay, so they didn't actually get the tier 2 in the end, like I thought they would be able to. TA still had BKB off cooldown. I guess the fight just got too split up. This is still a 10-second BKB for the Templar Assassin. I don't know how, but that's just the way that things have worked out, between not being able to cast it in the Roshan pit, not needing to cast it because the Tidehunter was dead down at bottom. Troll Warlord is going to be going for a Butterfly, and oh no, he's going for MKB.
Dire's middle tower has
What's he seen to make him think that he needs this? I guess the Lifestealer does have the evasion talent. Yeah, 15% evasion. He's probably seen the medallion on the Crystal Maiden as well, so knows that the Solar Crest can't be too far away. Though Chuan actually once again now deciding that he wants the Force Staff even more. I'm surprised that he's not just going to grab the Solar Crest. I'm even surprised that the Earth Spirit didn't grab it, but I guess he saw the medallion on the CM and probably assumed that she was going to finish it, or they talked about it, and Crystal Maiden said, I'm going for it, but still no Solar Crest just yet. I mean, it's a great item for them, even if they're not using it defensively. The offensive capabilities with the TA and the Lifestealer damage are definitely there. Net worth gonna tick back up towards the Radiant as they continue to just farm out their side of the map. Tidehunter going to be going straight into a refresher orb here. No pipe, no ghosts, no force staff, no nothing like that. Just straight up double ravage. Big smoke from Vici, but this could be a bad place to take a fight. There's a shrine right up here, and it is ready to go. They're going to jump forward, but they don't get a lasso onto anybody. The Ravage comes out, and it looks like they should be able to focus down the Earth Spirit. He's been finished off. Now, there's a couple stuck in the Static Storm, but they will still be able to run forward. The 10-second BKB from the TA doing its job, as Super does get slid away by the Hurricane Pike, but Ori finds himself in an awkward situation, stuck over here in the Ancients. Chuan will drop the Freezing Field as they manage to bring down the Shadow Fiend, and they've lost both cores. LFY, despite the great position to take a team fight, are still going to end up losing it. It's all Ori all the time, finding 3 kills so far. Going to look for DDC, who will be able to get the glimpse back and keep himself alive, but that's all 3 cores dead, and Vici, the only important pushing heroes for them are still alive, so tier 2, not long for this world. Tier 3 probably even going down here with no Radiant buybacks available whatsoever. Well, I guess having the 10-second BKB for as long as she did, actually winning the Templar Assassin that fight, the Shadow Fiend really not where he needs to be, I think, in terms of farm, and yeah, TA does not give 2 hoots about the Disruptor. DDC gets the glimpse back, but they've got an angry Lifestealer to contend with. He can still just infest himself into some Radiant creeps and make his escape. Afu gonna go for one last cheeky mana burn, but that's already a melee barracks down, and that's gonna open the way up for the shrines. Vici Gaming, things looking good for them once again. 6.2k the net worth lead, 5k the experience. Crystal Maiden, as Chuan finally made up his mind, he does have his shiny new Force Staff. And Tidehunter did manage to buy up his Refresher Orb recipe, so only 1 Perseverance away. Though it remains to be seen if that's actually going to be enough to turn this game. I think if they were still holding onto their high ground successfully, it would be fine, because then the BKBs would get, at least the BKB, no, there are BKBs, plural, there is a BKB on the Batrider as well, but, you know, once the BKBs wear down, maybe they're alright, but I think losing 2 more fights might just mean that they get mega creepsed, so, I don't know. Tough situation for them. I think Vici just kind of outplaying them in some ways, and this TA getting completely out of hand, has a butterfly up now, and I don't think that MKB is necessarily all that close to being completed on the Troll Warlord. He does almost have it, actually. 1200 gold to go. But Vici picking up a gem for some absolute map control. Just running around here, dewarding all the high ground spots. There is some Radiant Vision over on their side of the map, but I don't think they're really interested in playing all that close to their side of the map at the moment. As they're just hunting down here, they get a nice boulder smash onto the Tidehunter. They can't really afford to pop the Ravage. His team is coming closer. They've got the Silence, maybe the Ravage at the last moment, but instead they find the Nyx Assassin trying to help out. And that's just 2 heroes dead once again on the LFY side as Vici. What do they do here? They don't have any scouting on the Roshan right now, but it looks like Earth Spirit's suspicious that it might be up, so Amy's going to go and scout that. Does see that it is in fact up, and signals his team to make their way over. Lifestealer going to be going for a Daedalus now after completing his AC. He's had that for a little while, but still worth mentioning. And what, I guess they just... Do they give the Aegis to the TA? Does Ori even want it? Maybe you sub your... I don't even know if you sub your BKB for an Aegis here. Maybe they just give it to the Lifestealer and he can chip the high ground. Alright, so it's going to sub out his Midas for the Aegis. They've got the Shrine as their next objective. Nice and easy peasy. Vici Gaming clean that one up. They're going to give the cheese over to the Batrider. He's working on an Ags. Pretty nice luxury item. And Earth Spirit, is that his Aghanim Scepter completed on the Courier? Yes, it is. Alright. So that's going to mean even easier high ground siege for Vici. They can just go up, hit with their cores. If they get initiated on, they can Geomantic grip them back. Keep them alive with the... Stone Remnant. There is the Ravage, or the double Ravage to contend with for the Tidehunter. They've actually found the Troll Warlord over here with the lasso. Does not have a TP scroll, so he's looking pretty dead on my screen, but even this Invis is not going to help since there is a gem on the Batrider. A couple of Shadow Fiend illusions coming in to be a little bit annoying, but TA even gets away with some refraction charges since he does already have the +3 refraction instances. And Jal even thinking about going for this kill up here on top. Or at least going to put some pressure onto DDC. He does have a Ghost Scepter, but they've got the Crystal Maiden and plenty of nukes, it looks like. Chuan lets it go with the ultimate. Doesn't even really need it to find that kill, I think. And they're now up to almost 13k, the net worth advantage. Yep. A high ground they will go. Vici not going to take no for an answer here. And Tide, you think that he's tanky, but it just doesn't even matter. The Troll Warlord's dead. 45 seconds in the hole. Vici just going to swap all the way over to bottom lane. Look for the Mega Creeps. There is a glyph available for LFY, so maybe they can get one fight with their full team and the double ravage, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to get through the Aegis. If they can focus on the TA, maybe, but it's still a 9-second BKB and plenty of defensive options, multiple Force Staffs and the Geomantic Grip. They get the lasso back onto the Shadow Fiend, focusing him. He does have the Manta along with the BKB. Super getting a little bit further back, but TA focusing on the Tide Hunter. Couple more seconds of her BKB remaining as Lifestealer swaps in. He's gonna do some damage onto that tier 3 and does just manage to make his escape inside of the Bat Rider. Crystal Maiden caught. Does get gripped back a little bit by the Earth Spirit. Second Ravage being lined up, but he doesn't have the mana for it. He needs to pop the Greaves. Does get the mana now. Ravage comes out, but Ori is still full HP. Jal chasing forward. Half HP, but he's got the Aegis. Knows that his team is not too far behind him. Earth Spirit being conservative with the stones right now. Still has the Magnetize that he needs to use. He gets the silence off. And as much as Lifestealer is isolated, he does still have another Rage back up in 1 second's time. Not a big deal. Nice little blink away from Afu, wasting a lot of the duration here on Jal's Rage. And can he actually get out? He's being slowed. He's being gushed. Super chasing forward. They're going to look for the glimpse back as well. Can he get an Infest? Nope. Gets taken down. And LFY with the double Ravage do successfully defend their base. Doesn't cost them any buybacks. And TA, I don't know. Just, I guess Ori was anticipating that he was going to be able to burst the Tide Hunter in his BKB duration, but didn't work out that way. And LFY will hold on to their final lane of racks. Alright, so let's see if this is the turning point. They're going to get a little bit of farm time on their cores. They do have that MKB up on the Troll Warlord, not too far away from his level 25. Though, I don't know, his level 25 talents are not that impressive. I suppose Vici don't have MKBs just yet, but TA is still 8-second BKB to work around. Chuan does go back for the Solar Crest now as they plop down a couple of wards. They did manage to keep their gem up as well, so good for the Bat Rider. And I think they still quite heavily have the map control advantage at the moment. They could definitely do with a gem over on this LFY side, but looks like DDC going to be prioritizing the Solar Crest instead. So picking that up now. And Afu scouting out to try and find something with his Nyx Assassin, but Vici just kind of too deathballed together, not gonna give them too many opportunities. So Roshan potentially back up, not for a while yet. We've got a Daedalus up and the Templar Assassin. Alright, maybe this is what she needs to cut through the Tide Hunter in that still relatively long BKB duration. Tide going to be going for a Shiva, so it will be more difficult to bring him down once he has that up. Even just the Plate Mail going to be helpful. And Lifestealer also with the Daedalus online. This is a huge upgrade to Vici's offensive capabilities. And they've also got the Aether Lens for the Earth Spirit, so his saving potential with the Enchant Remnant going to get that little bit stronger. I think I said Stone Remnant earlier. That's his regular ability. Enchant Remnant is the turn your allies or enemies into remnants. Alright, Tidehunter's going to have both of his Ravages back up. So it looks like for pretty much every fight for the... Well, every fight without buybacks for the remainder of this game, he should probably have both of those up. 4-man smoke from Vici. I am, of course, just counting the Lifestealer infested inside the bat. They do have the Templar Assassin pushing the wave. It's also a smoke from LFY. Looking to take this fight away from their base. They know that the BKB and the Rage could chip them into Megas without even waiting any time. They are going to pop forward with the BKB used. Who are they focusing on? It looks like it is the Troll Warlord. They're auto-attacking him down. Boulder Smash not going to connect, and Monet actually still pretty survivable Ori popping the BKB, and all of their magic immunity has been used before any of the Ravages. They're going to get the glimpse back onto the Templar Assassin. She does manage to jump herself out, and Earth Spirit helping to keep her alive, but Ravage number 1 coming out. They will get the kill now. Couple more raises thrown out. The second Ravage being sized up. Monet able to man-fight the Lifestealer extremely effectively. They bought back on the Templar Assassin. Chuan trying with the ultimate, but can't even do it. The gem hits the deck. They've lost 3 so far. Make it 4. Make it 5, in fact, as it's actually only the Templar Assassin buyback returning to this fight. Double kill for the Tide at the end of the day. And LFY, their base is still a shambles, but they hold. And they get a bunch of farm to show for it as well. Almost an 8k net worth swing. Troll Warlord getting 1.5k of that. So he's going to pick up his Satanic in just a second. And maybe LFY have done it. Maybe this is the late game situation that I was kind of umming and ahhing about. But it seems like it's kind of here. I can't fault Ori too much for buying back, because I think he was hoping that his team would just be able to disengage long enough that they could that he could get there and they could fight without the Ravages being up. But great patience from Tide, holding the second Ravage for a very long time until he saw a good opportunity to use it, and completely crushing that team fight. If they get the pick off on the Templar Assassin now, it's probably, it might even be game over, in fact. LFY, I don't think they would go for it. They would probably just take 2 lanes of Rax, and there isn't any reason for them to just go for the straight GG if they feel like they can continue winning team fights. But maybe this is going to call for a different approach from Vici. Do they have a gem? They picked up their first gem pretty early on, so they should actually be able to replace this fairly easily if they have the money somewhere. Yang has gone for an Ags. A little bit of a cheesy item, but could potentially be extremely game-changing if he finds the right initiation here. But going to be very difficult to bring down the Troll Warlord. He's now got 3k hit points and his Satanic to heal him back up, so he's looking alright. Shadow Fiend picking up an AC as well, also getting tankier and tankier as this game goes on. And this Vici Gaming window, it was looking good, but maybe it's slamming shut on them. It is an extremely long Roshan Well, I mean, not extremely long, but 2.5 minutes out of the 3 potential minute window. And alright, Earth Spirit will pick up that replacement gem for the team.
Go for my master.
TA now down to a 7-second BKB, so really needs to make that count. I don't know how they just couldn't kill the troll. They got the lasso on him, but seems like not quite enough damage. I guess that's where all the armor is coming in. He's not even next to the Shadow Fiend right now for the AC, but already has 27. And maybe Solar Crest as well from the Disruptor saving him there. Still notably no MKBs whatsoever on the... No MKBs or a Bloodthorn on the Vici side. There are still some BKBs on the Radiant, but I mean they're down to 5 seconds at this point. Yeah, both of them. So not a huge deal. Batrider's BKB down to 6. Vici, alright, I mean it's a little prize, but they're gonna take it. They're gonna leave their Lifestealer in the front to chip down the shrine. Needing to be careful. Tide running forward, does run over the TA trap. They've also got a nice Observer Ward down here to scout him out. Though it is the Disruptor who needs to move forward to give them vision to get this D ward. So I don't know what Vici do now. They can't really split push since it's only 1 lane of Rax remaining. They could look for pickoffs, but I feel like LFY can maintain a... Well, they can still build towards a net worth advantage even if they're 5-manning pretty heavily. Of course, they are farming super creeps, so it's a little bit slower, but not by an insane amount. And Vici, this is a pretty aggressive place to be with still 3 minutes on their Templar Assassin's buyback cooldown. So it looks like they're just gonna hang right behind Ori. They do have that high ground siege potential with the Earth Spirit hanging a long way back with the Geomantic Grip, and you can see that's exactly what he's doing right now. He's just trying to bait the initiation. TA will find some really nice damage out of the tier 3 tower, and it looks like Vici have come up with a strategy to still be able to make some moves at this stage of the game. But this is only if they can see the Tidehunter. If Tidehunter's off the map, and there's the potential for him to be smoking all the way around, then I think they They definitely just give the base a wide berth. Alright, Roshan's back up. Do they have any vision? Afu moving forward, scouting. Spots the Batrider now. Is going to see that he has that gem replacement as well. Troll Warlord smoked, moving towards the pit. Roshan taken quickly, but perhaps not fast enough. And LFY, are we going to make it 3 for 3 on Roshan steals this game? Don't tell me. Alright, Battle Trance. Amy wants it. Oh, they're just going to Ravage. LFY taking 0 risks. 1 Ravage expended to get the Aegis and the cheese, but I think well worth it with their track record so far this game. They can wait 140 seconds before utilizing this Aegis, and Vici just kind of stuck in a holding pattern. TA working on an MKB, Lifestealer working on an MKB. Everybody starting to look pretty capped in terms of their item builds. Sure, there's the odd utility item here and there coming up for their other heroes, maybe like a refresher orb for the Batrider, but other than that, not that many impactful items left. You know, the damage is going to scale up a little bit more for the Lifestealer and the TA, of course. I mean, those MKBs coming through, and then they can buy Moon Shards as well, but they can't make their BKBs go back to 10 seconds. So tough times against the Tide, who now has the Shivas if he wants it. Gonna go and grab that in just a second. Did go for the 20% cooldown reduction.
Gold for me.
And even Afu picking up some farm now, working his way towards an Ags. I mean, it's a pretty late one, but we won't begrudge him that too much. The rest of his team has been farming pretty heavily this game. Disruptor, just wandering around with the gem. And that's kind of the only thing, I think, that's keeping, well, one, waiting for the Ravage, and the fact that Vici have a gem of their own. Those are kind of the only things that are keeping LFY off the dire side of the map right now. We got a DD for the Troll Warlord. Alright, he's going to be going for a Butterfly. I think realizing these MKBs are still not up. Lifestealer does grab his. What did he ditch for it? I think he, oh, maybe he had a slot. This was the Aegis slot, right? What did he buy this game? He sold his Midas already. Then he went Armlet, SNY, AC. Yeah, alright, so just selling the Midas. Doesn't have buyback available. TA buyback is up. Bottom lane gonna get pushed by LFY. They don't really manage to utilize this DD all that effectively, but still gonna come in here and get some damage onto the tier 2 tower. What's the Earth Spirit's plan? Is he gonna try and kick him into the tier 4s? Is that the play? Jump in, enchant somebody, kick them all the way back. Their high ground defense is okay, but I think LFY have ways to just punch straight through it. But for now, just going to be forced back to defend. They don't have any boots of travel just yet, so... Well, they do have some boots of travel on the Troll, in fact, but they will still just back themselves up. Shadowfiend going to be going Scotty. And we're still just chilling.
Invisibility.
I'm really shocked at how quickly this game turned. I thought that Vici, after, you know, the push immediately after taking 2 lanes of Rax should not have been as difficult as it was, but I guess the LFR teamfight, the Tide choosing to go straight Refresher actually proving to be an extremely smart decision. You know, not messing around with any smaller items, just knew exactly what he needed to do to win the fights. Now LFY just figuring out how exactly they are going to get over onto the dire side of the map. Looks like Troll Warlord going to go and push out top. Everybody else going to go push out mid, and then he can join them with the boots of travel fairly quickly. Are there any BOTs on the Vici side? No BOTs at all. So they don't really have any way to threaten going for bottom lane, but there is a pretty big wave making its way through here. And LFY are going to have to be careful that they don't take their eyes off bottom, and that they are ready to go and push that out. We got Boots of Travel 2, in fact, for the Troll Warlord. Doesn't want any way for his TP to get cancelled as they come up for this high ground push. That's the Boulder Smash used, so no way for a couple of seconds to push anyone into the base, and Earth Spirit being very aggressive. No, not Earth Spirit, but Tidehunter being very aggressive with his positioning. Alright, that's the glyph forced. Monet gonna start chopping wood on this tier 3 tower. This is gonna unlock the shrines, but I think LFY have bigger plans. They're gonna move forward right onto the melee racks. But no, alright. Playing this game extremely cautiously. Just gonna back up as the Aegis is reclaimed. Shadow Fiend does have his plus 150 attack range now, so he's ready to start sieging some buildings. Tidehunter, what did he go for? I already called this out, but went for the 20% CDR. I think very sensible with all of his active items this game. There's another DD waiting down bottom. Alright, so it looks like Vici can go and grab that on this little expedition down towards bottom lane. Alright, if they're not careful, LFY could be in some trouble here. They do have triple buyback available, so it can't go that badly. They've also got their glyph. Yeah, I think they're all right. But we'll see. TA gonna meld up. Can they somehow burst the tide? I think that is a big ask, but it looks like they're gonna try. Bat Rider keen to jump forward, but no. Tide on the front lines. Super being very safe. Just some Shadow Fiend delusions, and they're gonna let that go. So Vici back to the drawing board. Deward their side of the map a little bit. LFY, I would guess, if they're being extremely safe with their play right now, probably go for this shrine over here. Troll, having seen the MKBs, looks like he's going to change his mind from going for Butterfly and is now going to be going for Scotty instead. So even more survivability for him once he swaps out his SNY for that. We've even got a Scotty up for the Shadow Fiend, so he's looking at 3.3k health at this stage with the shine on him from the Solar Crest, getting up to 47 armor. Very difficult for Vici to do anything about. I wonder if this game would have gone any faster for Vici if they hadn't bought the Midas on the Lifestealer. I don't think it really set them back by that much, and it did help him to secure his AC pretty quickly, which helped them take the tier 2, and then, you know, this ensuing base push that they went for. So, I mean, can't have been that bad, but I just don't know how they would have played this game any faster. You know, how did they avoid getting into this situation where LFY's Tidehunter is just ridiculously difficult to deal with? Maybe Earth Spirit just commits himself to controlling the tide. Maybe you go back for a Yules at this stage, and then you like Yules him, and enchant Remnant him, and then you kick him away from the fight, and then you blink after him, and when the enchant Remnant fades, you just silence him, and you just waste all of his time, canceling his blink dagger the whole time. Because if you can keep him away from the fight, then I think Vici can actually win this. Because they do have the lasso lockdown. You know, they blink in, they get a lasso on the Shadow Fiend of the Troll World. They do have a ton of survivability, but it's not like Vici are lacking damage. We just haven't really been, you know, they haven't been given the opportunity to harness the full power of this double Daedalus that they've had for the last 15 minutes or so. Alright, so LFY, super chill. Some chill dudes playing some chill dotes. Just gonna wait for the Roshan, it looks like. Vici still kind of just scratching their heads, I think. Wondering exactly what they're gonna do. Chuan is gonna be going for a blink. Again, just kind of little utility items here and there for the Vici side. They've got plenty of time to ponder the problem that is this Tidehunter, but the longer they wait, the bigger he gets. He's gonna be going for a Hex up next. Disruptor going to be going for an Ags. That Nyx Assassin Ags has probably made a little bit of progress since we last checked in on Afu. Yep. Another 1.2k gold for him. until he has that one completed. Chuan even coming in just to put down some wards, but we'll see how long those are going to last. Lifestealer needs to be careful. Alright, Crystal Maiden scouting for him. Troll Warlord has found him out over in the trees. How many bashes can he get? He's got the pursuit. He's actually got the Blink Dagger. Jal just going to try for the TP out and... Wait, what? Is Troll Warlord's bash magic? It's not, right? It's not magical bash. You can bash right through rage, and he hit like 10 times and didn't get one. What on earth? The MKB bash is a magical type bash, so you can't bash a BKB, or you can't cancel a TP through magic immunity with a Monkey King bar, but you can definitely cancel it through magic immunity with a Berserker's Rage bash. Oh my god. That would have been a very big pickup. Roshan a couple of seconds away from respawning. Vici have everybody back alive now. Net worth now almost 10k in LFY's favor as they pick up that secondary Scotty, and that's going to catapult the Troll Warlord up to 3.7k hit points. He actually ditches his blink entirely for that. I'm a little bit surprised to see that he keeps the SNY over the Blink Dagger, but maybe initiation is going to be a little bit less important now that they're going to be the ones sieging. A very fast Roshan to follow it up. Looks like they are going to be giving that to the Shadow Fiend, the Aegis at least. Chi's going to be picked up by the Nyx Assassin. They got an Arcane Rune for the Troll. I don't know if he's the best hero to be carrying it for his team right now. I would have maybe given it to the Tidehunter, but I guess it does give him these very low cooldown boots of travel to be able to push out the waves, so maybe that's what they're angling for. And Tide pushing mid, but his team is about to show elsewhere on the map, so I think definitely the right decision for him to back up. TA waiting, perched on this hill, just hoping that they were going to death push mid so she could take the mega creeps down bottom, but LFY too cautious for that. They did end up losing the tier 3 down here in the end, so these wrecks are exposed. Templar Assassin just hiding over in the tree line. As Vici gonna go and poke and prod over on the other side, hoping to find somebody right as these camps respawn. But there's nobody home but neutrals. And LFY just playing the game at their own pace. About 4 minutes. Less than 3 minutes and 40 seconds or so until the Aegis is going to be down, but looks like that might be enough for them to get over onto the dire side of the map a little bit. Chuan does manage to blink away, so it looks like he's going to be alright. The Templar Assassin split push looking to just delay out this Aegis as best she can, but there are some boots of travel on the Shadow Fiend, so he'll just chill down here. And LFY, this is maybe getting a bit much at this stage. I think they could try a play, but maybe... I don't know, maybe there is enough to be worried about here. The Tidehunter actually taking some pretty big damage. They're going to try for the TP in, but Tide's just dead. Playing way too far up, way too cocky about the double Ravage, and he gets brought down. Shredded by the Daedalus. Not a whole lot of damage coming in from anywhere else, but the Lifestealer had more than enough. And I guess if you're Vici, do you try and force out this buyback? They do have a lasso ready to go for the Batrider. He's got the Firefly up in 2 seconds time. And they also take this as an opportunity to get down a couple of nice opportunistic wards. Tide, just going to buy up some boots of travel, ready to join his team. If his buyback does get forced out, and 60 seconds to go. They do have a glyph, but he's absolutely the cornerstone of their team fight. They're going to jump forward. They're looking for Monet here. Can they get him out? They didn't actually get the lasso onto him. He is getting man-fought by the Lifestealer right now. They're just looking at him. He is getting solar crested by his team. Helps to keep him alive. The Earth Spirit will enchant him up. That's all he does. They're actually just making space for bottom. Ori managed to take out the melee barracks. The glyph now getting popped, but I think he might just go back in for the range. We'll have to see. Tidehunter buying back, TPing in on the mid lane. Disruptor, can they bring him down before it gets up any spells? It looks like they might be able to. The Magnetize is still chasing him. The Tide does manage to chase after Yang, but he gets Glimmer caped up. Secondary Ravage does come out, but it only catches Tuan as Yang managing to blink away, and he's going to make his escape. With 0 Ravages available, Vici Gaming actually still have 4 heroes alive and creep streaming into the base. Oh, Tide, you were single-handedly winning the game, but now you almost single-handedly lost it. They can still definitely hold out against super creeps on all 3 lanes, but they're not going to be moving very far. And maybe the Vici item progression is actually going to come in. Yeah, Batrider, Refresher Orb coming up. Earth Spirit, still just sitting on 3.7k right now, as Crystal Maiden is going to be going for an E-Blade. Chor Warlord just queuing up a Moonshard for all that's going to do. And LFY hitting creeps under the cover of some dire Observer Wards here. They got to get this gem back out onto the field. DDC already finds it. Shivas has caught Ori down here. He's already used his blink. He's got the BKB. Just going to try and run for it on the backlines. They have managed to pop the Shadow Fiend Aegis. Ravage still coming off cooldown for the time being, and this could actually end up being a decent fight if the Lifestealer wasn't being focused over on the other side, but he gets saved by the Earth Spirit to kick away the roll as well. Jal is somehow alive. He's going to try and lifesteal up off the Tidehunter. He gets brought down anyway in the end, but still some amazing plays from the Earth Spirit. Glimpse back, catches the bat. Looks like they should be able to finish him off with the Scotty chasing him. Earth Spirit tries for the roll away, only has 1 rock remaining. Gonna try for the blink, manages to juke around the corner, would have got Thunderstruck otherwise. And looks like he's actually gonna end up being okay. They do lose the bottom lane of Rax in the meantime, so it's now Mega Creeps against LFY, and Troll Warlord gonna say, screw the Moonshard, it's Rapier time. Multi-man push on the mid, but there is still buybacks for both of the Vici Gaming cores that they're missing. And how are these games that I'm getting? They go over an hour, we get rapiers, we get throws, there's just all kinds of nonsense going on. Alright, Batrider buyback going to be used a little bit earlier just to try and secure the Lifestealer not having to buy back, but the Tidehunter double Ravage in 10 seconds time. I don't even know if they're going to have many opportunities. Why is Tide here? Why is Tide defending the base? Yeah, get in here. No, don't. No! Tidehunter! Alright, no Tide for the fight. They sense their opportunity to jump in. The Troll Warlord being focused, but they aren't doing any damage to him just yet. The Templar Assassin actually getting stunned up as he blinked in by the Nyx Assassin. Amazing spiked carapace from Afu. Double kill. There are still those Vici buybacks there. They're going to TP down towards bottom, but this time around it's the Vici Boots of Travel that get cancelled. Tidehunter was not running for his team. He was defending the base, but the Batrider is actually going to deliver the Lifestealer inside of the enemy tier 4s. He doesn't have any way to get back, so Jal just focusing on the towers now, and I think LFY probably going to do the same. We have a base race situation on our hands, but there's a glyph available for Vici. They're going to lose the Earth Spirit, and he's down for 100 seconds. Monet focusing on the racks. They've also lost the bat a little bit further over as Tidehunter kiting this Lifestealer around in circles. He's got the shrines. Jal realizing that he really needs to just focus on the tier 4s, but the Tide giving him a really hard time. And in the meantime, the tier 4s are dropping. It looks like LFY may have actually done it. They got through both of the tier 4s. Chuan's going to try with the ultimate, but the Glimpse is going to cancel it. The TA now arriving, but the tier 4s are both dead in their base. And now the Ancient is gone. LFY will win the game in the end, even with the Tidehunter's Boots of Travel getting cancelled. They did everything that they could to throw. Almost everything. They played safe, and then Tide just ran down mid and died, and then they got Megas, and then he couldn't Boots of Travel in, but in the end, LFY will manage to take game 2. We will be heading to a 3rd and final game for this series, so I don't even know what to say. These qualifier games have been absolutely ridiculous. I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage of the Summit 7 China qualifiers. I'm definitely enjoying bringing it to you.